Bubba, what you cooking, man?
What's up, everybody? Good morning, Iron Minds. We are back. Look at Nick out in the sun today, in the Florida sun. Michael Lombard with the trucker headset on. Good morning, fellas. How you doing?
Morning.
Good morning. How we doing?
We got Patrick Daniels in the studio today. King among men and God among kings. Michael Lombard is my hero. Look at that guy. Look at that guy.
I might adjust
Morning,
that.
Patrick.
Ordering Michael Lombard pajamas, so get in on that with me.
That's right. We need the Michael Lombard Halloween costume, which I think we're looking at right now. We got the headset on. That's right. That's definitely happening. What's up, fellas?
Headset,
How you guys
wig.
doing? That's right. Fake beard. All kinds of good stuff. What's going on, fellas? How's life? How y'all doing this morning?
Well, tell you what, I'll go. House should close on Friday. Giddy up, so we can get that monkey off our back. So life is good. And I got to run a 5K and a half marathon out in Clearwater this weekend. So that was good.
Nice. How? What was your time on that half marathon?
Slow. It was like 2 hours and 24 minutes. And the lesson I got from that is that my PR in a half marathon is just under 2:20. And I was not in shape for this race. I just decided to kind of pick a tempo and just run with it and see what happens. And the fact that I was only a few minutes off my best time means that the times before, I just simply did not work hard enough.
Yeah. Well, that's under 10-minute mile for 13 miles. It's not horrible. It's not horrible.
No, I mean, it's just that I almost did as well as I did before when I was significantly better trained.
Yep.
So I just think that my effort during the prior races really was not there, because I just said, you know what, I'm going to put forth a hard effort this weekend, and just whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
So I was happy.
I love it,
about
guys.
how it went.
Nice. I love that. Well, today we're talking about the importance of finding your tribe. Michael Lombard, I know that you have found a running club in Austin. You obviously have a gym that you work at, and you help people out. I'll tell you what, when people don't have a tribe, when they're doing this stuff on their own, sometimes it's just hard to keep going. It's hard to be motivated. It's hard to, life gets busy. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were just saying they were trying to get into a routine, but then something came up with their kids, and then something came up at work. And it was hard to, have accountability, and hard to have people that were encouraging them. And life gets hard, especially midlife. It's a lot going on. Finding your tribe, man, it's critical. So critical.
I think that's when, and that's when it matters most, is having that community, because and that's what makes it even that much harder and feel harder when you get older, because growing up, you do have that. You have your friends. You go outside in the neighborhood. In high school, you have your group. In college, you have certain things going on. And then even after college, even in the young adult world, you still have a somewhat community traditions. Maybe you go to certain places, certain bars. But then eventually, life happens, either kids, weddings, and then that starts to dissipate. And it feels uncomfortable. And what's great is I just did, I just released the second newsletter of Taillights, and I basically give a story about why community is everything. And I go into it about the community in the trucking industry. And I tell this story of the carrier I was contracted to, Warren Transport, about how on my birthday, this guy, he had bought me dinner, and I didn't even know this guy. He had bought me dinner. He helped me set up the chains and all this stuff on my truck. And he was telling me about community, and about he's the only way you can survive in this industry is community, man. He was talking about, I can't synopsize my own words, but he talks about how you need to come together in the industry. And then from the same aspect, I was talking about this on Saturday on my Instagram story. You did. You talk about running community. I, on Saturday, had to get a 20-mile run in, my long run for Austin Marathon. I did my first 10 with a running group, and then I did the next 10 on my own. And so I darted down to the trail in Austin. But while I was on the trail, I saw a whole bunch of people I know from the Austin fitness community. Like, just bumped into a bunch of people, said hi. I had 3 people honk their horns who I knew who drove by when I was coming back into the city. And so I go back to this reference, like, remember being a little kid when you would go outside, like on a Saturday, and just all the kids would be already outside, and you just meet up with them, and you'd run around and play. That's what I did on Saturday. I just ran around outside, and played with my friends, and like I knew all these people, and like how it made me feel is second to none. And it's like, but you have to go out and seek it. It's not going to really kind of find you.
Right. No, that's a good point. Growing up as a kid, even being in college, you're around people all the time. You're like-minded. Hey, let's go to the gym. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. It's funny. My family. We were talking about that last night because my daughters are starting to have friends who will go to the gym together. But we were like, you know what? We're kind of a tribe here as a family. Why don't we do it together as a family? So we're going to start going to the gym together as a family after school. That's going to be fun. But man, you have to be intentional about finding your tribe. Nick, I know you've got some things you like to say about finding your tribe as well and getting with the like-minded people. What do you often encourage people to do when it comes to getting started?
I'll tell you what, this is actually a tricky one for me too, and I was thinking about it over the weekend. Actually inspired and encouraged by Michael's post, because I saw the post that morning right before I went for the run when he was like, "Get out and play," and that was the attitude I went into the race. Was like, what? Who cares if I'm not where I'm at? Just go out and play.
Go have fun.
Surprisingly, I didn't see anybody I knew, which is weird because I usually run into like somebody somewhere. But I was thinking about it because I saw somebody with one of those signs, like, "Hey, you're doing all this for a free banana." Well, first of all, I don't think they even gave out bananas at the race. But I was talking about my effort in that race just now. I don't make that effort when I train by myself. And being around other people with just a common goal of like stacking wins and helping other people win, I'm not trying to beat other those people, but I am driven by them and I'm driven by their effort. And it drives me to, continue to just strive to look for other ways to be my best self. And when you look at someone like me who has to but I train by myself most of the time, I really do value the opportunity to be around that community. A lot of people will talk about how social media is so disingenuous and all that and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's a reflection of how you use it, because in the Spartan community, I've built friendships around the country, around the globe, and these may be people that I might see 3 or 4 times a year, but hell, that might be more times than I see like my dad in a year. All right, that doesn't make the relationship any less valuable. And we all want the same thing, right? There's no red, there's no blue, there's no trucker, there's no carrier. Like I said, there's no Chiefs, there's no Eagles. It's just people out there trying to do the best for themselves. And I don't know, I feel like healthy-minded people don't find their way into the sport. We all got something that drove us here in the first place.
Yeah. And we all have a lot more in common than we don't. I was at the AFC Championship game, which was a blast. And I'm up in the stands and I'm sitting with Buffalo Bills fans everywhere. And of course, we're rooting for our team to win. But then it was cool because at the opening, like before the game, when they did the national anthem and they saluted troops, every time during the game, they saluted troops, and you had the stealth bomber fly over. In that moment, we were all one. We were all together. We all had everything in common. That was kind of a cool moment. Like every time they would honor a military veteran, everybody would stand up and clap and cheer and do all that kind of good stuff. It's like you're reminded that you have a lot more in common than you don't. And you just got to be around those people. You just got to take the time to be around those people. I think we get too stuck nowadays just being at home. We're streaming movies. We're not talking to our neighbors. We're not going out front. I mean, I live in a cul-de-sac. We're hardly ever out front with our neighbors. It's so easy just to get stuck in your house and not see people and not do stuff. But we have a lot more in common than we think.
Yeah, absolutely. In Spartan, they do other things too, but there's a group called More Hearts and Scars. And what they do is they help. It's about athletes with disabilities, but some of them with the invisible scars as well. And so they take actually adaptive athletes throughout the course. And that means somebody in a wheelchair often.
Yeah.
And
Love that.
these guys are badasses, all right? They take them up mountains. Like, they do not mess around. And I was really fortunate to volunteer with them one time. And you know what you were saying about people not going outside? The other thing that people, and I'm calling myself out on this one too, we're always so concerned about getting ours. I have to get to the front of the line. I have to do this. I have to move this minute faster. You can't be in front of me. And I just recall this one time when I was with More Hearts and Scars, and we're doing an obstacle course, and we were using ropes to get our athlete up and over safely one of the obstacles. Well, this takes time, all right? At one point, I looked behind me. There was probably 75 racers waiting to get on that obstacle. Anywhere else in the world, these people would be cursing at you and throwing rocks. And I took a video because when we got that person up and over, everyone just clapped. It was just cheering for the other person. And that to me was like the racing community just shows me time and time again the level of humanity that we still have.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah, I've heard this statement before. You're never going to get harassed or get made fun of or whatever by people who are doing the same things you're doing. It's only the people who aren't doing it are the ones that are going to throw rocks and are going to, complain about what you're doing. But like seeing that moment, like you talked about, where you're helping somebody get over an obstacle, man, everybody's cheering, everybody's there. Absolutely love that. What's up, Alex? Good to see you this morning, man.
Speaking of Alex, and it's funny when you say that when it comes to cheering Alex, because Alex wants to do the 70.3 in Belgrade, which me and Nick also want to do. And, Alex asked me personally, he said, do you think if I locked in for 8 months, I can do this? Because a bunch of friends of mine said they don't think I could do it. Like 8 months isn't enough time. And if you zoom out and you look at like the collective, like if you look at the average time it takes, when you look at average times, you have to look about that word average. Like on average, would somebody be ready where Alex is probably at in 8 months? On average, the answer is no. But if you lock in for 8 months, like if you actually just lock in and you focus on getting 1% better daily, there's no reason you can't be ready for a 70.3 triathlon in 8 months. But you have to lock in. Like if you're going to do what the average person does, you can't be ready. But chance. if you just do something slightly different, but I'm glad we're talking about this community thing. It's something huge I talk about when it comes to veterans. I think, and I wrote a Substack article about this. I've talked about this on the podcast. I think this is why we have the mental health crisis with veterans in the country that we do today, because they do, whenever they get out, whether they EAS or retire, however they exit the military, that community goes away. Goes away almost completely. And when you get out, even if you join a veteran community in town, wherever you're from, a lot of it's circumvented around drinking. A lot of it's circumvented around good old days type energy, like of living in the past, as opposed to living as opposed to like rallying around what days you have ahead. And I think that's where a lot of people, at least where I feel like a lot of my friends are suffering. Like I think that's where they're suffering, is a lack of community, and it's harder for a veteran to get involved in a community because of the identity of being a veteran compared to anything else, and like letting go of that being your identity, of being in the military. And so it's almost like a double whammy, but it takes the community to rally them. And once you get involved in it, once you dip in like a cold shower, I mean, it's how I survived college. Like if I didn't play lacrosse, if I didn't join a fraternity where it wasn't as maybe as close as like what it was like with the people I went to Afghanistan with, it's still like those people wanted me there. And like their desire for wanting me to be around made me feel more comfortable and definitely left a smile on my face.
Yeah, no, I love to hear that, dude. Like, man, Alex, I hope you do it, dude. If you have a plan, if you got some intermittent races, maybe start with a sprint triathlon, in a month, like knock that out, and then do a half, like whatever it is, like just working your way up, 100%. And I love Scott says, forget the haters. You got to forget the haters, man. Don't, like, use that as motivation. Anytime
Alex
people tell you can't, man, just do it.
Alex can lean on me and Nick. Like we just rally, we keep rallying each other on Instagram. We keep talking to each other. Like that's the thing. You just look at what we're doing and you just keep up with that. And yeah, you'll be ready.
This is going to be a chartered flight to Serbia. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be a chartered flight. You get more and more people.
G6,
joining.
baby, let's go.
We need Scott. We need Revanova to back it.
Yeah, we do. Let's go. Come on.
Don't worry,
Come
Scott.
on.
We won't ask you to do it. We just need you to front it.
That's right.
But
Tell Mike to get on that.
That Alex did here is reach out and build the community around it. Like, it's especially endurance sport. It's a lonely sport, right? Like, a lot of people have to spend time by themselves. And what I have found is that the people in your life who are tugging at your shirt, telling you can't do stuff, it's because they're trying to hold you back because they want to stay stuck.
They can't do it. Right. They aren't going to do it.
It's unfortunate, but sometimes those people, they don't get to make the journey with you. And rallying support around community about encouraging people, like, because especially with an 8-month goal, any 8-month goal, all right, it could be read a page a day for 8 months. You're still going to have a discouraging moment somewhere along the line, and having accountability and people to share the struggle with. And I love this: 2 different states, 2 different countries. Like, you want to talk about the new community and how we have more opportunity to build community around us now than ever before.
I know, it's amazing. What's interesting is I think about this. It doesn't even matter if it's health related or whatever. Anytime you try to do something that the rest of the people aren't doing, you're gonna have people that say you're crazy. I remember when we we're pregnant with our first kid, and we really wanted my wife to stay home, and we were both school teachers, and we had close friends who were like, you guys can't do that. Like, you can't afford it. You can't do that. But it was really important to us. It was a value for us that one of us stay home with our kids. And so we, even though we had our best friends telling us that we're crazy, we can't do it, we can't afford it, it's not going to work, we did it. And when we made that decision, we made all the sacrifices to make it work. And my wife was able to stay home for 14 years. But people were like, you can't do this. And the main reason they said you can't do this is because they weren't willing to do the sacrifices to make it happen, but we were. And, so it's like anytime you want to do something that is against the norm, you're going to have people tell you that you can't do it. It's crazy. What are you doing to yourself? You're going to fail, whatever they're going to say, mainly because in their mind, they know they can't do it. And that's, the moment you realize that, it's a lot easier to push through and just say, who cares? I'm going to go do it.
For some, it's a satisfaction, like that. Well, I'll show them. I don't know. I think you just see the irresistible pull. You always have. And I've been that guy. In the past when someone was setting out to be something that was going to, I don't know, make me feel inferior or make me make me look in the mirror and see that, wow, I could be doing more. Anything that made me feel uncomfortable about who I was. It was just much easier to tell them why they shouldn't be doing what they were doing or what they couldn't do. And, at the end of the day, though, it doesn't solve the problem that there's a reason I'm feeling that conflict in the first place. The haters know there's a disconnect, and that's why they're projecting that way.
Yeah, so true. Hey, something really cool. We announced officially Nick Klingensmith, keynote speaker, Broker Carrier Summit, coming up in April, everybody. Indy, let's go. Let's go.
Day after my birthday, too, so giddy up. We're bringing the fire.
Nice. I love it, dude. That's awesome. Weather's going to be good. We're going to have – so we got to talk about this. So we got Wednesday morning. We got Thursday morning. We got to figure out what we're going to do. So there's a lot of space in the hotel, in the convention center to potentially do something, maybe an indoor walk or a stretching group or something like that. Do a Orange Theory workout together. There's also, it's right downtown. There's a lot of really cool areas, a lot of sidewalks, in the morning. So I'll figure out what we're going to do. We might as well do a couple of episodes of Iron Minds at 6 a.m. on Wednesday and Thursday in Indianapolis. So we've got to figure out what people want to do, give the people what they want.
I like it. I'm bringing my ruck.
There's actually, I just thought about this. So we're working really hard. So listen, Lucas Oil Stadium, if you're watching this, Lucas Oil Stadium, we need you to open up your parking lot for truck parking with our friends over at Truck Parking Club. Got to have that happen. But if we do get that, then we could potentially use the Lucas Oil Stadium parking lots right by there. Like, we got a lot of options here in Indy. Oh, and by the way, we just went to Charlotte on Friday to scout the hotel in Charlotte as well, and that's gonna be the best summit ever so far. Charlotte, it's gonna be amazing. Facility's great, city's great. Oh, can't wait! I cannot wait for that. It's gonna be great.
Very exciting.
Yeah, gonna be good.
I was touching in on Broker Carrier Summit on Instagram last week, talking about, again, harping on community. and about like this is what I mean when I've been reading over my family's company's old company newsletters, and those newsletters were a way to make the company more feel like a community. So that way you knew what was going on outside your terminal with employees, and reading about different events they would do, reading about like the company rodeo that they would do, the driving competition. And again, we're coming back to it full circle, is that's what event, like that's how this is what needs to happen in the industry. Is like this, broker carrier summit has the potential of this full circle of the industry finally coming back around in person, shaking hands, getting to know each other, because that's what made my family's company successful, was the drivers, the people, the customer service reps, knowing the customers, knowing the who they were doing business with, and it made everybody successful. And I think that's what Broker Carrier Summit will be for the industry.
Yeah, we just got to get more drivers to come be a part of it, man. Like I love talking to the drivers that come to this thing, because it's hard to find partners in the industry, especially if you're a new driver or single truck, 2-truck driver. It's hard. It's hard to find people you can count on. Hard to find your tribe. There's a chance to really find your tribe and meet people in person, which is great. Nick, what are you going to be talking about, man? What are you going to? Have you figured that out yet? Are you going to wait a little bit? You get inspired when you get there and get the one that, like, what are you going to do?
There's always a work in progress, because I continue to learn these things about life and how to apply them to business and different areas. But we're obviously going to share my story, which is the theme of victim to victor. I think the main idea here is I want to focus on ideas of embracing purpose, your why, of embracing responsibility, of embracing community, and really leaning into those as ways to overcome our own trepidation and fear and excuses. And I really want to encourage people to ratchet up the expectations they have of themselves. I really think we have so much opportunity this year to make this the best year and to continue to run that forward. So there's going to be a call to action.
I love it.
But it comes by embracing the things that got us there, and embracing the community, and like Michael just said, really leaning into it. I think about it too, man. When I used to work in restaurants, anybody who's ever worked in a restaurant knows the kitchen staff and the wait staff do not get along during work hours. But I'll go to the bar after, and you become best friends, and that's how you survive the work day. So, and I'll be honest, I'm particularly excited because my time in the industry, I spent a lot of time in leadership. I didn't get so much of this frontline, outside the brokerage walls experience of the industry that I'm even getting now. And I just think there's so much more for me to continue to learn and to gain from other people, to understand their experiences and what they're going through. And again, make myself a more valuable member of the community.
That's an interesting analogy that you make, the restaurant community, because you've got two parties that really have to work together for a restaurant to work. And sometimes they're at each other's throats. The cooks are dealing with things that the wait staff's not dealing with, and vice versa. And, sometimes the timing isn't right on getting food out or how it's cooked and all those kind of things. And they got to work together to get it right. But then, they go afterwards and they hang out and they're good friends. And sometimes they end up getting married. Some of those people do. the servers and the cooks, like those things happen all the time. But that's a great analogy, because in this industry, it just doesn't work if the brokers and carriers don't work together. It just doesn't work. They have to work together. They have to be, in some cases, on the same team. And I think that's a really good analogy. What's up, Rolando? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining us this morning.
I can't wait to use that restaurant industry reference when talking about brokers and carriers, because the server themselves, because there's such an argument for both sides, because the cooks, infinitely enough, are making the food. And the cooks are definitely the motor carriers. They're the ones doing the work. They haul the freight, but yet motor carriers also are shielded from what the servers have to do, which is be customer facing and deal with a whole laundry list of other, BS that goes on outside of the kitchen. And that's such a solid reference for how it is. And so they beef about it. But yet, if you put them together in the same room, and all of a sudden you're a carrier, you're talking to a broker, you find out you both have kids, both your kids play hockey. All of a sudden you're becoming best friends, or you're from the same town, or you root for the same team. Yeah, all of a sudden you start breaking bread, and it's a whole different story.
That is a good analogy, because cooks aren't going to talk to the customers that are in there, but they're providing the critical service. And a lot of times it happens where drivers will pull into a dock, they'll unload, they'll talk to one guy, at the location, maybe 2 people, a check-in person, whatever it is. They never actually get to talk to the customer who made that decision. Like that's that's pretty cool. Oh, Robert Bain getting up in the morning. Can confirm servers and cooks get married. I love that. My boy Robert Bain, strongest man in logistics. The dude is like regularly squatting 1150 now. Like that's just insane where he's going. And he's like not really stopping. He'll be at Manifest as well. Robert, so you have to get up with us in the morning. Robert, should we do 4 a.m. so that we're on our normal time for Iron Minds, or should we push it back to 6 a.m. local, which would be 9 a.m. on the Eastern time zone? What do we do when we're in Vegas? Give us your thoughts. I know you have thoughts on that. But yeah, I mean, that's, that is such a great analogy to think about that, and working together. So that's awesome.
I got another thought too, that also just looking from someone like me who I haven't been to the summit before. One I've actually had my eye on since I got out of the business. This is one of the ones I've had my eye on, and I'll tell you that I think so many of the problems come from the stigma of the extreme bad broker, the extreme bad carrier, that incident that then gets people to react a certain way and carry that attitude into future correspondence. You know what I mean? Like so much of that angst and that conflict, but it's really like the few bad apples that are screwing it up for the rest of them. So it's a great opportunity for people to get past that.
That's why you got to. That's why you got to come to the Broker Carrier Summit. It's a non-scumbag tour. I mean, this is the people that are doing things the right way, who are going to answer the phone, give you accurate updates, be honest, work together, because they have to work together. That's for sure. All right, guys, listen. Bain says 0600. He ain't doing 0400 Pacific time. So Michael, he's on par with you on that. So Nick, can you do 9 o'clock on Tuesday, February 11th? February 11th. We're going to move it back.
Make it happen, man. It's important because community is more important.
That's right. Plus, like, if I get up at 4 o'clock and work out, I'm not going to go back to bed. It's going to make it for a long day. That's not my game. I don't want to do that.
4 o'clock is
6 o'clock.
Desired workout time. That's what I'm working out back to. But to be honest, it's a wake up time, not a workout time. I mean, there's a slight difference.
Right. I do actually like the early workouts. Manifest is going to be great.
I'm excited to go there and have conversations like this. I'm going to be running around making a lot of content for Truck Parking Club, and I'm looking forward to having conversations with a lot of people, maybe people who see me on LinkedIn, and just talking about the industry and just talking from the driver POV what they need to do. And I understand it. Manifest is going to be a lot of AI lovers and autonomous fans who are going to be there, and I hope to at least tug on some heartstrings a little bit and bring that aspect to it, and just make some friends and hope and bring that same Broker Carrier Summit energy to a place like Manifest. I'm looking to really make a splash there and kind of bring some energy to it. I don't know what type of event it is, how hype it is, but I'm trying to bring that Matt's level, Broker Carrier Summit level energy to it.
It's a great event, but it's definitely different than Matt's. I mean, you're definitely going to have drivers there, you're going to have carriers there, but you're going to have brokers, you're going to have shippers, you're going to have warehousing, you're going to have technology, you have robotics. Like, it's everything. It's like 6,000 people and it's everything. But, I guarantee you, Michael Lombard, you wear that headset around Manifest, people are going to know you're all about drivers. That's what I would do if I were you. I'd wear the headset. We got some stuff planned for ourselves to help us stand out as well. We have an episode of Word on the Street on Tuesday mornings. You guys should stop in between 9 and 11 and hop in and say hi on that. There's going to be a lot of podcasters there. It's going to be a great time, but it's definitely different than Matt's. Matt's has that family feel, that trucker feel. It's incredible. It's hard to replicate that. But Manifest is going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. For sure. Looking forward to that, dude. Really looking forward to that. Going to be awesome. Also, we got some fun stories between Robert Bain and I. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Robert Bain and I have a tradition where we share a room together in Vegas. It started 3 years ago where one of us was going last minute. It was like, yeah, jump in. Just hop in at the room. So then the next year we switched and the other person got the room, that kind of thing. We've had a couple situations where we went up to a room and there was only one bed with padding on the back and mirrors on the top. We're like, okay, we gotta get a different room. This isn't gonna work. But we've got some fun stories. It's gonna be great. It's at the Venetian, and there's also a Broker Carrier Summit, the first big road tour event of 2025 for the Broker Carrier Summit and Freight Movement coming together to do that. Happy hour on Monday night, 7 to 10 at the I think it's the Craft Bar. I think it was, or Black Tap Craft Bar is what I think the name of it. in the Venetian. So that's going to be great. A chance to get the Broker Carry community together, even right now, which is going to be a blast. Michael, you going to be there at that point Monday night?
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
All right, we need to get you to register for that. That'll be good. Nick, we need to get you out there as well, man. It'd be great to see you out there. Come on, we can all get together. Come on.
Definitely events, definitely on the radar. Obviously not. For
If you do decide to go and you want to enter to win a free ticket, you just got to come to Word on the Street on Friday and put a comment in on the show live, and you're entered in the show. We're going to make the drawing on Friday, so could get a free ticket to Manifest, which is going to be great. All right, fellas, let's wrap this show up. We're getting close to 30 minutes on the hour. Good to see everybody in the comments today. The most important thing we talked about today, though, is finding your tribe. And this is something that you just have to be a little intentional. Like Bane's got his weightlifting community, definitely his tribe. Michael, you've got a running club. There are a lot of things locally that on Facebook you can find them. Start talking to people at your church. Start talking to people at your gym. All those things are there. You just got to find. It could be a golf community where, like, for me, I would love to join a golf league where they walk. I love to walk playing golf. That's my favorite way to play. It's just getting out there and walking 2 miles and playing golf. But finding your tribe is so critical to do that because it's hard, man. The older you get in life, it's harder to have friends. It's harder to have community. You got a lot of things going on. But this is just something that's so important to do that and to find a tribe. So that's my encouragement to everybody is to get on Facebook. Start asking around, ask at your gym, ask at your church, who's doing what, and how you can jump in and be a part of a community. And like we said, just go out and play. Go out and have fun. Just go out and have a good time.
It's uncomfortable to go into a new space with a new group. I think CrossFit gyms really breed this. A lot of people have kids there. A lot of people are grinders. A lot of people are work tough jobs. It's uncomfortable to get yourself to making new friends as an adult is the weirdest thing you can do. It really is. Especially if you're 30 plus. Like, it seems weird. It seems like it just seems awkward. It's because of the setting. You're not in school, you're not in college, you're not in the military. It seems weird. It's uncomfortable, but again, we talk about this on the show a lot. When you get comfortable being uncomfortable, that's where the growth, that's where you thrive.
Dude, it totally is. I mean, that's what a lot of it, is all about, is just making sure that you've got your community. We got our community here, Iron Minds. You can go pick up a water bottle and join our community as well at ironminds.io/shop. And as we talk about all the time, is iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Go find those that can sharpen you, that can help you be better. And until next Tuesday, everybody, have a great week. Peace out. We are out of here.